Hey guys, I just got to the airport for an early morning flight to LA. As you know, part of the series, the goal was to go hands-free for 2,000 miles. In other words, let the car drive itself for 2,000 miles. And guess what? We just accomplished it. We've gone 2,003, 0.5 miles and 99% self-driving out of a total of 2,019.8 miles. So we did it. The car drove itself for over 2,000 miles. I have to say I'm relieved because at times having the car drive itself was a bit of a pain in the butt, especially when doing errands. And I'm really curious to see what will happen after 2 years when we return this car after the lease is up, and we'll see if this number is at 99% or much lower when the folks who drive this at the team actually have a choice between having the car drive itself or driving the car. But for now, we made it. 2,000 miles, no accidents, nothing horrendous. It was actually very pleasant, but it did show that the car, at least in this mode, becomes much more of just a conveyance, you know, kind of a big white toaster. Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of our new series, Hands-Free 2000, where we don't drive a Tesla Model Y for 2,000 miles. I've got the entire editorial team here that has spent a week behind the wheel of our new Model Y, not driving it.
Yeah, a week each.
Yeah, a week each. And I wanted to ask a simple question, and hopefully we can get to a more complicated answer, and that is full self-driving, or in other words, hands-free driving, the future of cars? And so everybody here has actually experienced it. And Tommy, why don't you describe how it works? Let's start with that.
Well, in our Tesla Model Y, essentially there's a series of cameras around the car, and you plug a destination into the computer.
Or not.
Say, take me here, and then the car will, as best as it can, drive itself to that destination.
And Andre, were you weirded out having the car drive itself?
It was a little awkward at first, but I got into it. And then I have 2 words for you, Roman.
What's that?
Demolition Man. Do you know this movie?
Yes, I know, where he crashes a car and then it like fills up with foam.
Yes, but do you remember the steering wheel disappearing into the dashboard?
Yes.
I almost felt like Sylvester Stallone. No, Sandra Bullock. I was almost Sandra Bullock.
All right, and then Case, you had an interesting experience with the AI Grok. Because you took this assignment way beyond just having the car drive you, but you asked Grok for some help with your girlfriend, as I recall.
Yeah, so there's different modes for Grok.
Sorry.
Yeah, different modes for Grok. You can put it in a not safe for work mode, an unhinged mode, and that was a mistake. I regret that.
So if you guys haven't seen that episode, you should, because it's pretty funny. The advice that Unsafe
was horrible.
Gave you to spice up your love life, if I recall.
It was awful. It was the worst part of my week.
To clarify, though, that's not really related to the self-driving.
No, but it was entertaining.
Yes,
it was an experience related to the car.
All right, so let's take a huge step back. We kind of jumped into it. But so the issue, of course, is that Tesla has been in the forefront of self-driving for a long time. And it first started with autopilot and then eventually full self-driving.
Supervised.
And then full self-driving supervised. And there are different levels of automation. So there is level 1, level 2, actually autonomy, level 3, level 4, level 5. And to make it simple, level 5 is where the vehicle can drive itself under any conditions, without a steering wheel, without the input of any human being, and it can go anywhere, anytime.
In any climate.
In any climate. And level 2 basically requires that the driver sits and monitors the computer, and in case of an emergency or in case the computer is something stupid, they take over. And the difference between level 2 and level 3, Tommy, is huge because it changes liability, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I think that this is my big takeaway of the system.
Wait, talk about the liability.
Yeah, for sure. So level 2, the driver's still responsible for anything that happens to the car, even if the car is, quote, self-driving. And then level 3, that responsibility shifts to the car, where then the car is liable for what happens to the situation.
The manufacturer of the car is liable.
Yeah, which is a huge transition, because once the manufacturer becomes liable, that's obviously a big deal.
Yeah.
So a level 3 system like what you can find on a Mercedes has to have so much going on to be able to run a level 3 system. It's got LiDAR, it's got duplicate systems for the steering, for the brakes, for GPS. It only works below 45 miles per hour, I think, roundabout. You have to have a lead car in front of you. It's got to be above freezing. It has to be light outside. It's crazy.
Except Tesla doesn't care about any of those things.
Because it's level 2.
Yeah, and the conspiracy theory is that the Tesla system is actually level 3, but they're calling it level 2 because they don't want the liability. And I actually agree with that, because when we had the Cybertruck, we had a previous version of full self-driving, and you had these until moments. It was great until it almost killed you. Did you have any until moments, Case, when you were behind the wheel, not driving the Model Y?
There wasn't anything the car did that felt like impending danger. There were definitely things it did that were imperfect. There was one point I was driving and it decided to go, not driving, yeah. I was in the driver's seat. The car was driving and decided to go into a right turn lane to go through an intersection.
Oh, there it is on screen. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so every now and then it has a hiccup of sorts. But in general, in granted my limited week, it didn't do anything to me that felt like I was in danger.
How about you, Tammy? Any until moments?
Yeah, I mean, it did drive me into my neighbor's lawn.
It did take you down? Did it try to back up?
But you were off-road.
Well,
Wait, it took you the wrong way at the ranch, and then it tried to back up that dirt road that we have, right?
no, so I live up a dirt road, and there's a hard left, which is great. So it did that turn great, and then you're supposed to keep going left, but instead it went straight into my neighbor's front yard, and then I took over. But to its credit, I will say, once I showed it where to go, it did the flawless job of learning, and then kept going. I wouldn't say I felt endangered. Maybe the grass felt endangered, but I was okay.
How about you, Andre? Any until moments in your week?
No, my week was super positive. So a couple of noteworthy moments. I was here at the studio in Boulder. The car was parked, the Model Y was parked in the garage. I got into it and I asked the car to take me home. And I thought it was gonna have me drive it out of the garage. But no, it did it itself.
Oh.
It pulled out of
That's
the
cool.
garage, turned left on a very sharp turn here outside the office, and proceeded to drive. I was just bewildered by this.
Yeah, same thing. I've got a narrow gate opening from my garage behind my house to get out to the street, and the car navigated through that narrow opening, no problem.
I've actually found that the car is better on the highway than it is parking, because one of the problems that I found with it, and keep in mind this is the latest software we're using, so it's 14.2, I believe. And I say that because not that long ago, and this was a pretty popular story out there that made the rounds, and that is these guys tried to have it drive itself across country. This is before the guys who succeeded, and the first thing it did is it hit a giant piece of some kind of, I don't know what it was on the road. But
Like a box or something, an obstacle?
No, it was some kind of metal.
Like metal grate.
Yeah, and it took out the car. Basically, it took out the car.
Yeah.
And which is interesting because I was just not driving, coming back from a video we did, and there was a dead rabbit in the road, and it actually went and avoided the rabbit.
There you go.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this is the small object.
Yeah. I mean, think about how big a rabbit is. Yeah,
just a few
I mean, it
inches.
could have ran over it; it would have been fine. But it actually went around it. And I say this because Musk himself has said that with AI now basically learning, it's doing it much quicker than it used to do. So the car actually learns from the mistakes it's making, and so maybe there is some real AI learning happening, and the system keeps getting better. One of the things that I always struggled with was when it went to park somewhere, it would always park very far away from wherever I was going.
Yeah.
It wants to protect itself.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
it
was
does.
going to the bank, and there was 3 parking spots at the bank, and then it went to the third one in the middle of the parking lot. There was nobody around. It was really weird.
Yeah, it will park itself, and it actually does a good job of getting into the parking space that it parks itself in, but it almost never parks in the spot that you want to be in.
Yeah, but you also summoned it. How did that work?
I did do a summon. So a few people have pointed out that if you were to be in the rain, you're standing under cover, and you wanted to summon the car to you, then maybe it would make sense. But for me, summon turned what would have been a genuine 15-second walk into about 2 minutes of the car slowly navigating its way through a parking lot.
Oh, no.
Which was also pretty embarrassing because I'm
It's
talking
still
to a
sitting there.
camera.
It's not moving. Are you trying to summon it at this point? Is
It
is
is-
that the white one?
it's moving.
Yeah,
It's far away.
It is moving.
Is
It's-
this sped up?
No.
No, it's
No.
real time.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
real time.
I wish it was sped up.
So it's not the closed one. There's a
Well, you can
That's
see
the
it
Model
over there.
3.
Oh.
Well, so and to the car's credit, it was a directional lane through the parking lot, and it went the correct direction around, which means it
good.
had to make kind of a loop to get to me, which made it take longer, and it goes very slowly, as it should, because you don't want a
To run it
unmanned car running
into a
something.
plane like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, like there was video of famously a few years back.
Oh, here it comes.
So it doesn't do that, but it takes ages.
Yeah. Interesting.
So the other thing that is interesting about it, which I think is actually good, is it has 5 different drive modes. So you can pick how you want it to drive, and it goes from sloth to chill to standard to hurry to Mad Max. And we have found that even in standard, it oftentimes likes to break the law in terms of the speed limit. So I was going to the
100%,
airport.
yeah.
I was going to the airport the other day, and in standard mode, it was doing like 84 on a 75 highway.
Yeah.
So it was like 9 miles over the speed limit. And you can. The nice thing is you can slow it down by
going chill.
or
Yeah.
going sloth. And I noticed, the thing that I noticed is we're doing this new test called the Woolly Mammoth Challenge, where basically we're testing autonomy in the different vehicles. And I noticed that you drive in chill mode and I drive in standard. So you can kind of adjust the driving style to whatever you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, and I found that as I had the car, I was switching between those modes pretty often. If I'm going through my neighborhood, I had it in the sloth mode because I want it to be going maybe even a little under the 25 mile per hour speed limit. There's a lot of people walking, kids playing. But then you get out on the road, and if you're in the sloth mode, it's going under the speed limit, so maybe you want to take it up a little
In
bit.
hurry, it actually rolls stop signs.
Did you see that?
Really?
I
I don't
I
know
think
if
they
I
changed that.
Did they?
Yeah.
I had to
never
roll a stop
experienced-
sign in
did you?
hurry, yeah.
I never did that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say mine did either.
Maybe that was early on when because they keep updating it, right?
Yeah, I didn't see
I think
that.
we've had it update twice now since we've had the car. We've only
In
had it
under
for 2
2
months.
months, yeah.
yeah.
And I think on most roads, country roads, and obviously highways, it's fantastic. The car does a really good job. I think that the times more than anything when it gets a little frustrating is around town when there's a lot of intersection stop signs and everything, and the car is always just going to be very, very cautious, self-driving, as it should be. But sometimes you've got weeks worth of gap for a car that's coming down the road that you could turn in front of, and then
But
it
the
does.
good thing is you can give it a little bit of gas, and so it will make that turn.
You can tell it to.
You can tell
to
it,
go.
yeah. So
Yeah,
if you
but
give,
then it's not full self-driving anymore.
no, but you're kind of saying, hey, you can make this, and it'll do it, and it'll continue self-driving. The other cool thing about it is, even if it does something that you're afraid of, it doesn't like completely deactivate. It just stops self-driving, and then you can just hit it again. It just
Take
continues
over.
on its way. So that's really nice.
Push one button. That's it.
Yeah.
One digital button.
And then let's talk about the inputs. What I find really great, and I think this is especially good for older people who like my stepdad, right, who is 93 and probably shouldn't be driving, is that you can talk to Grok and you can say, hey Grok, take me to the Best Buy in Boulder, and then Grok will reply, the Best Buy in Boulder is 5 miles away. We'll be there in 15 minutes or whatever it is. And I find that's really good for especially elderly people who may be getting to that point where, because let's face it, guys, I think a computer doesn't get drunk, doesn't get tired, doesn't get road rage. At some point, I believe a computer is better at driving than I am.
Well, so here's my deal. I think, and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, because don't get me wrong, I love the technology. I think it's really amazing that we're at a point where a car can do this. And I was blown away with how well it worked. But until we reach the point where it's level 3 or level 4 and the car takes responsibility, unless you're like on a highway road trip, I definitely see a benefit. Other than that, if I can't be taking a nap or texting or doing something, like I'm just not so sure there's a huge benefit to it.
I'm with you, and I would even piggyback on that I think in some ways the system is almost too good because it's easy to get complacent because
I
it
agree,
does
man.
work 99.9% of the time. So that 0.1% of the time it does something potentially bad, potentially dangerous, you might be very slow to respond because you're so used to the car being on top of it.
Yeah.
Well, Cole, our producer, said he was just driving home. Were you driving home, Cole? And you saw somebody using full self-driving, and they were texting completely,
Sure.
like out of the driving.
Definitely.
Which is bad because the car is not infallible.
Yeah.
It does make mistakes.
But the problem is so I definitely see your point, but like you said, the computer doesn't get drunk, right? The human can't get drunk either. Right?
Well, it's not
You're-
supposed- it's not
you're
supposed
still
to.
gonna.
Whoa,
you'll
but
still-
humans do get drunk.
Yeah, but you would still get a DUI.
When you're supervising.
Right?
No. Humans are fallible and stupid.
I get that, but I'm saying like the great thing about a full self-driving system is it should be full self-driving and I should be able to take a nap. Right? And until then, I'm kind of like, well, if I just have to sit here and babysit, kind of why not just drive? Unless, of course, it's a road trip, there's nothing to do, then yeah, it makes sense, right?
And we took it on a road trip, and it actually does more than just road trip, right? It also like pulls into the supercharger for you.
Yeah, but I can also do that.
I know, but I'm saying it's
Allegedly. Maybe according to comments, I definitely can't.
But it does everything on that road trip. So not only does it have a really good planner, it actually pulls in a supercharger. So all you really have to do is go to the bathroom and plug it in.
No, I get that. I mean, I think like on a road trip, there's definitely a benefit.
Yeah.
But like to Case's point, it's very timid around town, and you're also not taking maybe the route you want to take to get to your destination.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
And at that point, I'm like, this technology, don't get me wrong, guys. It's incredible, and I can't believe that we're at a point where it can do this. But if I can't like do something else, it's not really a full self-driving system.
Well, the thing I found most frustrating, and I actually hated this part of it, was that if I wanted to go like run an errand, I would have rather driven myself.
Oh, yeah.
Because the car will pick a different route than I would pick. And maybe it's faster. I don't know.
sure.
Maybe it isn't. But I
Yeah.
know how to get to the grocery store, and so I go the same way. And the car might go a different way, and then it drives around trying to find a parking space. And I'm like, I just get on with it. I just want
And
to
the
do it.
way that it navigates a parking lot is not always going to be the best way.
No, it's slow.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, it's probably
Very
not the best
cautious.
way to get through a parking lot because it's maybe not looking at everything you're looking at. But ultimately, the computer is also, it's not infallible.
For sure.
The computer
Yeah.
makes mistakes as well. So
Definitely.
humans do. And you can compare statistics from one to the other, but yeah, it's not
Well, there was
completely
just a story that
100%.
came out last week. We're recording it this week. That the Teslas that are self-driving themselves in Austin, right? Because they're piloting this program like a Waymo, where you can. Musk's idea is with the new two-seater taxi that you could buy this car and then it could drive around at night and pick up people and make money for you, and then comes back in the daytime and you can use it to drive to work. It's basically a self-driving taxi. Moneymaker. But the statistics that came out last week was that those Teslas are like 4 times more likely to get in an accident than humans, or 4 times more likely. So they don't drive as well as humans. So the point about me saying
Who
that
says who?
this was the story.
Wait, whose story?
Oh, it was,
No,
it was-
like
it
how
was-
did they figure this out?
Because Tesla has to report every accident,
Incidents.
and then you can do a comparison based on miles driven.
Interesting.
So based on the number of miles driven, Teslas are more likely to have, or 4 times, I think it's 3 or 4 times more likely to have an accident than the human of the same number of miles driven.
Well, and I remember going back a long way to autopilot. The quoted statistic was that autopilot had fewer incidents versus the average driver. So
Sure.
I'm sure there are different ways that you can spin the
Yeah.
statistics.
I mean, look, where I'm at, I think my closing thoughts on this, I'm just blown away that it's able to do what it's able to do. And I think that it almost certainly will be the future. But until that is a level 3 or above system, I wouldn't pay the monthly fee.
Which is
That's where I'm at.
$99.
Which is kind of
And
expensive.
it might get more expensive because they just took away the option to buy. It used to be $99 or $8,000 for.
Right, and-
yeah. And in case you guys are wondering, we leased our car specifically for this video series.
So now we can return it.
No, we can't.
We can't
2
return it.
years.
Dang it.
But we leased it in Colorado for $400 and some dollars a month. I think it's $421, and you get 10,000 miles per year, so 20,000 miles, and that included $1,500 up front. So it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive for what you get. And we have the dual motor,
Sure.
the newest Model Y, the Juniper, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's very comfortable. It's got heated seats. It's got all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I do actually like the car a lot. I'm just strictly reviewing full self-driving as a technology.
So Andre, what did you figure out to do with your hands? Because the frustrating thing in the winter is that things got heated steering wheel, but you're like, hey, I can't use it.
I just look at this. I keep my hands on my knees as I'm
Is
not
that
driving.
weird? That felt weird, just keeping your hands on your knees.
No.
No?
It's like sitting in
You're
my...
in the bus lane, Andre.
I know, this was a small hiccup. A small hiccup where my Tesla went into a bus lane and blew through a right only.
Which is not great.
No.
Not great, but it got me there faster.
Skipping traffic. Were you in a hurry?
No. So here's my take on it. When I'm in a car or truck, no matter what it is, that vehicle has a personality. Right? When I'm driving our first generation Viper SRT10, I am Mad Max. Okay.
Yes.
I shift by myself. I don't have any airbags, no traction control system. I'm in full control, and I believe I'm Mad Max. When I'm in the car like this, I'm always chill.
Are you?
Because the car is chill.
I'm full of angst.
No, I am chill or sloth.
So it makes you chill.
Yes.
I
The
see.
car exudes its personality into me.
Unlike Case, he's blasting pile of mud. He's out there jamming puddle.
It does make me emo,
But you see what I'm
though.
saying? The car or truck translates its personality into me.
Sure.
So when I was in the Tesla, I felt perfectly comfortable. Maybe it was lulling me into confidence,
Into false confidence.
into
Complacency.
but
perhaps.
it never really scared me to a point where I was truly scared. Going into a bus lane was a little problem, but there was nobody around.
There's no bus.
There was no
So,
bus.
this time,
You know what it did to me? There was a bus on the other side, on the other lane coming the other way. It stopped, a city bus, and the thing pulled over like it was a school bus.
Thing just hates buses.
It does, yes.
Apparently it hates buses.
Oh, there
Feels
was an
threatened.
emergency vehicle on the side of the toll road, 470, and it went into the left lane, like you're supposed to by law.
It did that for me last night too. Yeah. Same thing.
So I don't know. There was no police. I don't know how it affects, reacts to fire trucks.
There
or
was a
something
fire
like that.
truck in the other lane, and it pulled over to the side of the road. Now, there was a little bit of controversy, so we're doing this new video series, and I want to get your opinion on this, because I'm a little confused. And maybe you guys can help sort this out. Maybe you guys out there. So we're doing a series where we're ranking how good these systems are. And we got a lot of flack about the fact that we compared Ford's Blue Cruise to the Tesla Full Self-Driving, but we subtract points because Blue Cruise isn't point-to-point. People are like, that's not apples to oranges. That's apples to
But
oranges.
that's the whole point.
But, I mean, there's nothing else you can compare to Tesla's system unless Waymo, right? But there's nothing else. There's nothing else that does what Tesla's system does.
And that's what's shocking me.
But let me tell you the controversy.
Okay.
So we're driving, and we're in a 3-lane highway, and the car decides to pass on the right instead of passing on the left.
Okay.
And I deducted 5 points because I'm like, I don't like when people pass me on the right. And then somebody said in the comments that the car shouldn't have been deducted those 5 points because in Colorado it's legal to pass on the right. And I looked up the law, and apparently you can pass on the right in Colorado. And then last week I was driving up to the mountains, and I saw a sign that says, stay right, pass left, it's the law. A big old sign flashing.
On I-70?
On I-70. So now I'm confused. Can you or can you not pass on the right in Colorado? So it's a little bit, and everybody was like, you shouldn't deduct points for something you did that's legal, but according to that big sign, it's not legal.
I'm not a fan of undertaking.
No, I don't like it either. I like
Well, it's dangerous for semi-trucks. If there's a semi in the middle lane, the driver of the semi has almost no visibility on the right side of their vehicle. So if you're passing, they could merge into you by mistake.
And you can control what the car does, so you can signal left, and it will pass. So if you're not happy, following something, it will do what you
make it change lanes.
Yeah, what you want it to do. All right, go ahead. Sorry, you were.
No. The whole shocking thing about this car and our woolly mammoth challenge to me is that no other manufacturer is kind of where Tesla is.
Anywhere near it.
And maybe Tesla is just a little bit risque, and just
Risky.
I think they are. Slight difference.
Sorry.
Probably both.
Maybe
Yeah,
both.
I think it is
Considering
both,
your
yeah.
Grok experience.
Yeah, for sure. That was beyond risque. That was downright verbal assault.
So, but where's Toyota? Where is Ford? Where is GM? Where is anybody else? Where are these people?
Well, Rivian's saying that they're going to have to come up with.
but not maybe not today.
Can the Tesla pull a trailer though?
Ooh, wait a minute.
Only
Super Cruise.
Super Cruise can do that. Yeah.
Wasn't our Cybertruck towing? Didn't we try to? I think I tried towing for a very short period of time in the previous version of full self-driving
Just like a
supervised.
full battery's worth.
No. Well, we did that Cummins versus Cybertruck video.
Yeah.
And I think for a few miles on I-25, it actually took over and was driving. But I think it was a little sketchy still.
I mean, the vibe I get from talking to a lot of these automakers, especially about Tesla system, is they're there now. They just don't want the liability.
Maybe that's
That seems to be a lot of the discussions
Tesla,
that I've had.
I think Musk and the company is not afraid to break some.
Sure, right.
Well, and to your point, with a
Make some
fully
omelets. Make some eggs.
camera-based system.
And
Yeah,
I
I mean-
that's also interesting. So everybody, this is Tommy's point, and you can make your point yourself about redundancy. You want to talk about the difference between like Mercedes and Tesla, the way they approach
Case
this?
talked about it at the beginning,
Yeah.
but a lot of the other makers, especially Mercedes, rely on full redundancy. The Tesla fans will say they don't need it, and you're overcomplicating the system. Listen. I think that my redundancy argument is not as strong as it was because I didn't have any incidents where I felt like having more would be better. Granted, I didn't have cases 0.1 of the situations where maybe it's going to crash, right? But I don't feel like I have the level of education to accurately preach for LiDAR or for 3 different GPS signals because the car, from my experience, performed well enough on just cameras where I'm like, well.
So as far as I'm aware, BYD, which obviously is
Sure.
one of the more successful Chinese car companies, stands for Build Your Dreams. The CTO initially kind of took Musk to task and said that you need redundancy.
Sure,
so
right.
Be that LiDAR, be that GPS, and then he actually did a 180 now, and he's saying that he can't. It can be done, and it can be done especially more cost effectively using cameras. Now cameras have issues; they have a hard time seeing.
It's a
Could
cost.
that be because they're doing the same
Could
thing?
be, yeah.
Could be.
Maybe they have a vested
But
interest in
I
flipping
am, I
180.
think, on Rivian's side on this. Rivian announced that they're going to be using radars and LiDARs in the near future. And I would rather, if the Rivian with radar drove as well as this Tesla does, I would choose Rivian every time.
I mean, the Tesla, those little ultrasonic sensors, right? Those little parking aid testers. They got rid of those.
They got rid of those.
Yeah, they don't even have those now. They've gone completely.
But my
camera.
point is, like, if it worked to that point and I didn't feel like it was failing ever, I don't feel like I'm in a position to say like I want LiDAR sensors.
I think time will tell.
Time.
Because
I like
at
that
we're at
case.
an early point in the
A
technology.
good cliche.
Yeah, good cliche to end this on. No, that's how I would end it. In town, I don't like using it. I like driving
Yeah,
myself.
no, for sure.
But like when I came back from the airport from a program and I was super tired and I just said Grok. And actually now this version you can program in 2 buttons home and work, right?
Yeah, they've always done that.
So you can just click.
Or it will predict where you want to go. It reads your
In
mind.
the morning,
It just starts driving.
In the morning, you don't even have
Yes.
to tell where to go. It says, "Hey, you want to go to work?" Yes.
So,
But I
question,
liked it. I was tired. I just said home, and it just took me.
question about that. Before we set work and home in that car,
Yeah.
I was driving it because I had it, I think, week 1 or 2. And I was driving it, and I clicked start driving before plugging in destination, and it just started going.
I know. I noticed that too.
Where is it going?
Exactly.
We should find out.
Where is it
Where
going?
is it going?
Maybe it's going to Musk's house.
Because I was leaving
Oh,
my
yeah.
house,
Sure, he wants people coming to his house.
and there's 2 ways to go. You can go right to work,
Yeah.
or you can go left into the big open wide world.
But-
and it went left. It
But
was
you- but-
just,
but-
it was.
But the car
Oh, it
always
was
went left from your house for some
No,
reason.
no, no. It would always go right if I set work.
Really?
But one time I forgot to set work and I just let it go, and it just started taking me.
It was exploring.
There was a lake, a beautiful lake. It wanted to go to the
can
lake.
drive into the
Hey,
lake.
here's something for the Tesla full self-driving supervised team, right? You have work, you have home, and I'm feeling lucky. Just big.
That's
wide
what
world.
happens.
Just punch that in, and
yeah.
next thing you know, you're on your way
Roulette
to Vegas
or Colfax.
No, it goes to Las Vegas.
or Miami.
It goes to Vegas.
Cabo, I'm feeling lucky. Just let it go. So for me, I'm really happy that it is happening. It terrifies me because I can foresee a future where car guys and car gals who love to drive will be forced to use this. Like now, when you go into London, right? There's a congestion charge. Same thing with. I can easily see some politicians saying, "Hey, if you want to come into LA, you're going to have to use full self-driving, or you can't come in." And then eventually that could spread to other highways, and then eventually that comes into a place where you have Mustang ranches, like for car Mustangs, not for horse Mustangs, where you can still drive, but the rest of the country is all full self-driving. And I'm going to be sad when that day comes. I probably won't live to
Yeah,
to
I
see
think we're
that,
a hot sec away from that.
But you guys might see it.
well, no, you can still drive a horse on the road.
Drive.
Ride.
Legally, you can drive a horse on the road.
Yeah, you could.
Drive.
Yes. I don't know what you call it if you're on a road. Ride.
No, but I fear a different dystopian future.
All right, what's your this is the next Netflix series. Go ahead.
I fear a future where, the cars are perfectly driving themselves very safely, and then a politician or some other person takes over remote control
That
of all
already
these
exists.
cars.
Yeah.
That already exists.
Not really.
And
But
that Jeep got hacked
but
like
if a
11 years
politician
ago.
can stop every car in the city,
That exists, Andre.
that
That exists right
No,
now.
if they
It does-
do.
Yes, Dad. If they do. Yes, technically they can, but they don't.
Right, but
They
there's
don't.
nothing
But
stopping
that's
them.
the
try not
future
to.
I'm afraid of.
So 11 years ago, a bunch of hackers got together and hacked the Jeep.
Yes, but
and took it over.
There's a
basically.
lot more to that story. It took a team of like 20 people over a course of many, many, many weeks to
Many
hack into
moons.
one car.
You think that if Tesla wanted to, they could pull your car?
100%, but they
100%.
don't. But Andre's saying a future where they could just push the button, they are legally allowed to say stop.
That's a dystopian future that
we've
I'm
been
afraid
living
of.
through a time where legality does not seem to have the same weight as it once upon a time used to have. You know, so I can foresee a future where this is.
Or a car locks its doors when somebody pushes the remote button and drives you to jail.
There you go.
You know what's.
That is
Or
that's
to a gulag. It just drives you to a gulag right there. And you're like,
Before we
okay,
go down that sad
drives
road,
you to Soviet Russia.
You know what's really sad right now in terms of like where we're at as a culture, that the Chinese are actually mandating stuff that we know should have been mandated by our. I mean, I'm not for mandating stuff, but like those door handles that don't open in an accident.
And now I think they're talking about the yokes too.
electronic
Yeah,
The yoke
so
steering,
you know
yes.
how they did the yoke? It was really clever. So they never said you can't have a yoke, but what the Chinese said was, in case of a crash, there has to be a certain strength that the steering wheel has to be. So you have to measure the circumference of the steering wheel. So if you hit it, how strong is it? And unfortunately, a yoke doesn't have that top part, so you can't measure it. So you can't have a yoke. But I'm saying even communist China is like now saying, like, hey guys, come on, let's get some real door handles. Let's not goof around with yokes. I mean, this just seems common sense to me because I think we're in a place right now where either auto manufacturers or auto designers have followed Tesla. We just have a Polestar 4, no rear window. Why?
Yeah.
Really, why?
It'll probably happen here. It'll just take 50 years like sealed beam headlights.
That's right. Give it 50 years. All right, should we cut this? I think we're going way off the rails here.
Yeah, we are way off the
I
rails.
want carburetors back.
There you go. Andre's pro car.
They're out there.
Hey, Tommy is all set in case of what is it, EMP blast, right? Uh-huh. You've got that Model T. That is definitely not going to...
Your Cummins.
I got my Cummins.
I'm coming to your house.
I'll give everyone a ride.
All right, we'll see you next time, guys.
Ciao.